The King has returned. We break down LeBron's return to the Lakers next on Beyond the Locker Room. It's been a few, I guess now we're entering week 2 of LeBron's return back to the Lakers. He's played 5 games so far, of a possible 6. He missed the Pelicans game. Obviously, last night was a very exciting finish with the Raptors. I thought it was a good time to actually have this. I was actually thinking about recording this a little earlier, but I remembered, oh yeah, the Raptors are playing them soon, so let's tie it together. I'm going to start I'm going to start with last night and use that as a microcosm of what I'm seeing with LeBron so far in the first 5 games. So last night, LeBron had a struggle in this case from the perimeter. He ended up with 8 points. So he's like 4 for 17 from the field. It was from an offensive standpoint, probably one of the most abysmal offensive games I've ever seen LeBron play from a scoring standpoint. And I think reason why he's having so much trouble last night, and props to Scotty Barnes, I thought he would play fantastic defense, but I am also very aware of the state of where LeBron's body is at this point here. I've watched LeBron, as I said before, for the last 5 or 6 games, or 5 games. And, the first game, he looked pretty good. He had a little more pep to step on game 1 against Utah. But as the games have gone on and progressed, he's been up and down. He had 5-point game. You have some games where he barely scratched 11 in the first game against Utah. It's been all over the place. And I think one of the issues that LeBron is facing for the first time in his career is his body is giving up on him a little bit. And I think where you're seeing that now is when it comes to the explosion to the hoop. And then at 41, you expect it. Last year, obviously, in the last few years, he isn't quite the same athlete as he was in his, late 20s, early 30s, or even mid 30s. But the drop off from last year to this year is extremely noticeable, where you see him underneath the hoop, or even when he kind of has the he kind of slightly has the edge on a guy on a drive. He doesn't have that explosion to get to that last step to kind of finish around the hoop properly. So a ball that would be and ones are now kind of trickling off the edge. Stuff like that is not quite there yet. And who knows, maybe over time it might come back a little bit. But, this injury seems to be a little more, debilitating than previous ones, which is understandable as you get older. For all the conspiracists, because there's conspiracy theories around LeBron like no one else. It's the strangest cottage industry I've ever seen. But for folks that think he was faking, like really, he was faking, like really. As I can see now, I don't know about you. I have a family member in this case that has back issues. It's not fun watching them in this case here, and it comes and it goes, and it's not fun. When you have back issues, and especially at 41, those are old people's issues a lot of times. Not all the times, but quite a bit of times, especially when you play that many minutes. I would say this when it comes to last night's game. That's one of the reasons why I think, because he has a lack of explosion, you're seeing it in his jump shot, where he's not got enough lift on his jump shots, coming up flat. It's the reason why even his fadeaway, his patented fadeaway, is getting blocked a lot. That's full credit to the Raptors and Scotty and whomever else did the blocks. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. I'm just stating what I'm seeing and what is causing these possibilities or opportunities for other defenders, be it the Raptors or anyone else, or the Utah Jazz. Where I think he had a few of them in this case in the Utah game, where I think he had someone blocked him as well too. Like this is what happens in this case where you have lack of explosion. And now, your patented fadeaway now doesn't have quite as much lift, which means in this case you don't have as much arc, which means that in this case where you're shooting the ball from is a little lower, which now gives the defender a better opportunity to block it. And that's how the equation works. What was fascinating though is that even though physically the body is not really where it needs to be right now for LeBron, the mind is still the mind. And and Darko gave him the full respect that you would think you would get for a player his caliber. Over the years, they're still doubling him. They still had concern about him. They still didn't want him to kind of get going. What I did find interesting was on the last play, and once again, on a side note, put a pin in this from a Raptors perspective. Remember when I did the Raptors post last week? I said there's concerns. The Raptors Rolling podcast. Check that one out there. Like, comment, subscribe. Check it out. I said at the time, and I was following up to our earlier podcast with kind of my first week reaction with them, is there's 4 pillars that I'm watching for the Raptors that are concerns throughout the season. Defense, half-court offense / execution, front court depth issues, and point guard play. And you saw a lot of it in the last week, and you definitely saw some of it last night. The half court offense stalled out quite a bit. Late game situations where like some of the shots that were being taken by Brandon Ingram were woo, and they couldn't find anybody else they felt comfortable with to give the ball to in late clock situations. On the other side of the ball, defensively, this is the second game in a row now, I believe it's Brandon Ingram on both occasions, where he left a guy open the three-point line and kind of was slow to get out on the guy. Going back to that last play when it comes to LeBron. So Reeves was out there looking for 50. They went and, Scotty was laying low, waiting for him to make his move. As soon as he started making his move, Scotty went there. I think Scotty was out there. He went to double him. That left LeBron being the open guy. Now, all these folks say that it's LeBron stat padding, blah, blah, this and that. Quite honestly, you look at the play, he probably had a lane straight to the hoop, really, because I can't remember who was coming up. I think it's Quickly that kind of cut him off, but Quickly's not stopping LeBron James. I don't care what phase of the game or his career LeBron is in, or what state of his physical health he is. That ain't happening. So he could have gone to the hoop and tried to see if he could go tie the game and attack the hoop, but as has been consistent with him throughout his whole career, he's always going to look for the best opportunity and the best shot. And the best shot was sitting wide open for three, which was Rui Hachimura in the corner. And the thing that people don't get in this case here when those passes happen, it's not by fluke or by luck these shots are being hit. I think the telecast last night mentioned it. Matt might have said it in this case here as a last stat. I think they hit 11 threes last night, LA, and 8 of them came from LeBron's passes. Think that through. I think that was the stat. 8 of the 11 came from LeBron's stats of the made threes. He's always been, we know he's been a gifted passer from time, but an underrated part of his game is that he's one of the best passers, I think, ever of passing the ball to a shooter in his pocket. Like, when you get a pass from LeBron, in this case for 3, and you're a shooter, you don't have to worry about it diving to the left or diving to the right or wherever it might be, or it's too high. It's in your pocket, ready to shoot. And it's a talent and an ability that is very rare for some players. There's some that are pretty good at it. I think actually, funny enough, we had one of the team that was pretty good at it. The stats bore it out as well too. Not he's at the level of LeBron, but I think Pascal is actually one of the better ones in the league when he's off of double teams. How people shoot threes off of his double teams. That was the case when he was in Toronto. I think it was actually the case in Indiana last year. So, it is a talent to do so because everyone that can't pass out double teams and hit the shooter in the right spot. A lot of guys in this case, they pass it out to them, but it's all kind of all over the place. So their toenails, and they got to scoop it back up and then reset. And a few times we've seen that, quite honestly, on our team in this case here with Grady, where he's getting some grenades and there's no time for him because the guy's already closed out for him, and you're wondering why his shooting percentage is like 32% from 3. Not all of them are wide open threes, guys, that he's missing. A lot of them in this case are like 4 seconds on the shot clock. Oh, I can't shoot now. Here, Grady, take the shot. And the guy's already closed down with a bad pass. I think of a Mamu one just the other day with that, where he hesitated on the 3. It gave time in this case here for the defender to come out and challenge Grady. I think it was the Charlotte game with Bridges. Anyhow, back to LeBron. I think what we're seeing here now is, a guy is trying to figure out where to find his offense a little bit with obviously with Luka and with Reeves now, really, especially with Reeves now, kind of, cementing himself now, looking like the second option. I don't know how long that will last. We'll see. But I think right now he's what used to get, I guess, late stage LeBron's offense going when you're struggling from the perimeter is that he'll be able to drive and get to the line and get to the hoop. That obviously right now is not the case. The other way he would get off his game would be post-ups for the mid-post or the low post. And right now, based on how this team's roster is, those opportunities are not necessarily as good as, as frequent as they used to be, because he has bigs in this case right now that are mostly roaming around the hoop in this case, be it Hayes or Ayton. Ayton does have a nice little mid-range jump shot, but it's not as proficient as, say, Anthony Davis, who could extend it right up to the three-point line, where they could play almost inverse ball. And funny enough, an ironic point in this case here, Anthony Davis is starting to do that a lot more again in Dallas, as you see Cooper Flag now kind of playing the role as poor man LeBron, where he's getting in the lane on some smaller guys and posting them up and playing his back to the basket. Which I actually quite impressed with, because a lot of young guys don't really practice back to basket moves, but salute the flag, my man. Anyways, back to LeBron again. He's not finding those opportunities, to post up to get his game going. So, which means he gets opportunities to get the free throw line, which obviously, as we know as a scorer, you see the ball go through the hoop, gives you a different type of personality, a different type of mindset moving forward. It's very hard to get your game going off from 20, 23-foot jump shots, unless you're Steph Curry. It's very difficult. Or Dame Lillard. Those are rare exceptions, very much rare exceptions. LeBron's, like most scorers in this case, need to see something go through the tin, be it attacking the hoop, getting to the line, getting to the post. That is not right now opportunities as much. We'll see as time goes on. What he does still have, though, is that he's a supercomputer on the court. And he will figure out whatever your coach has in mind, he's going to figure it out. So when the Raptors actually left him as the guy to make the decision on the play, you were playing to arguably his greatest strength. I know everyone's talking about, Ingram should have got at the three-point line, which, by the way, this is the second time Ingram's kind of been falling asleep there, getting out to the corner. Once again, defense. But what I'm looking at in this case is, like, from the Darko strategy, is like, why bring the double from there? If you want Scottie to be involved in the play, then put, and I can't remember, I'm pretty sure that Scottie was playing off of LeBron and then came to it. If not, I'm fully willing to take a correction if that's the case. But whatever the case may be, when it comes to double teams, bring the double team from somewhere else. Don't bring the double team from LeBron, because what is going to happen is what ended up happening. You gave arguably the greatest decision maker outside Magic Johnson that we've ever seen play in the NBA, opportunity to make a decision late in the game. Not what I would suspect would be advised in this case for any opposing team, especially the Raptors, who struggle in this case late game situations. That was a bad move, and the pocket pass was the pass was right in the pocket right there for Rui, all net, 000, game over. And he still has that mind, man, where he's able to kind of figure out things and figure out where guys are. His passing, I mean, there always is the claim he's kind of like half Michael, half Magic. And as we see this season, we're seeing more of the Magic side of him, where he is making the game look easy in the half court for players. And even as great as Luka is, and I mean, I love me some Luka. I'm a Mavericks guy. I follow Luka's career from day one. Luka has a tendency to play with the ball in the half court and make things more difficult than they need to be at times. And what you'll see sometimes is, where LeBron kind of playing the role kind of like how Kyle Lowry did in the year after the championship, and definitely in Tampa. Tampa is really, really solid. Where you'll see Kyle Lowry in this case here play technically the two-guard position, Van Vliet the point. And Van Vliet will come down, we come out with nothing in this case in the possession. Van Vliet come down, we run something again, wherever it is, it didn't really work out again, bad shot taken, nothing in the possession. Third time, same thing may happen. Sometimes you might wait 3 times. Definitely by the 4th time, you will see in this case number 7 come there and the ball will be inbound and say, give me the ball. And Kyle Lowry come down the court, look for Ibaka, look for Siakam, find some type of pick and roll or something to get somebody going. A pick and pop, something to the hoop, boom. Basket, boom. Free throws, wherever the case may be, it's a positive possession. And kind of like showing like, look, young blood, this is how you run an offense in the half court. That's how you would say the Van Vliet. LeBron's had moments like that in a short stint with Luka as well, too, where it's like, okay, Luka, you've done this, done that. You're taking like a 30-foot, fadeaway jump shot. We could get something better next time LeBron gets the ball down. I even saw it in the first game back against Utah where they were struggling a little bit on the half-court offense, and that's where, like, Magic LeBron came. And I think he had, like, literally 5 assists straight in a row in the 4th quarter. Started the 3rd quarter, the end of the 3rd quarter, where he had some crazy pass that gave Vincent from like 30 feet across, and from there it was on. He ended up having like 5 or 6 straight assists, ended up with 11 in the game, and just like boom, bounce pass for dunk for Ayton, bounce pass for Hayes, bounce pass, just easy buckets for all his teammates, just making it look simple. And I think that's where he will still be needed because, sometimes, Luka likes to play with the ball. Reeves will do a lot of dancing with the ball sometimes too. And sometimes where it's like, okay, we just got to get down to brass tacks. That's where old man LeBron's going to come in and run the offense and get you a quality shot. And you saw it last night again, a few times last night. He ended up with, I can't remember, he ended up with, I think, 9 or 10 assists, maybe 11. I think he ended up with 11 again last night. So, like where he'll be. Will he end up with 24, 25 points this season? No. The streak ended last night. I suspect this will be the beginning of a lot of streaks ending. For example, I'm not sure if you're going to see LeBron make the All-Star team this year. That's in the possibility. He'll get probably a very fair amount of fan votes, obviously, but obviously it's a 3-part process. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. All NBA team, I think based on what I'm seeing so far, it's early still, and a lot of things can happen, but unless, something really strange comes out of it, it's very hard pressed for me to see him get all NBA, considering he has 2 teammates on his team playing very much at all NBA levels right now. So it's going to be difficult to see that. But I think at this point here, LeBron's at the stage of his career where I say he's taking the Ivan Lendl approach to things. And for you tennis fans know where I'm going with this. I think where Ivan Lendl near the end of his career, at the time he'd won 9, 10 Grand Slams. But the one that eluded him was on grass, Wimbledon. And that's the precious that he wanted to get for the longest time. To the point where he was essentially stopping himself. He would actually not go to the French Open to make sure, where he was great on clay. He would stop going to the French Open just to prepare himself for Wimbledon. And I think what you're seeing with LeBron is a very similar tact, where for him right now, he is literally just preparing games right now to get ready for the postseason. That's it. And everyone's going to sit here when the postseason comes and wonder, like, when LeBron starts scoring 25 a night, wonder, like, what happened? This is, I think, what we're looking at. This season, pretty much, he's not worried about any accolades, any all-star things. I think he'll ramp. His points will go up over time, as they will. He's LeBron James. But I think when it's all said and done, he's preparing his body and his mind and his approach with this team for the postseason. And that's it. Nothing else. So I'll leave it there. I wanted to make sure I get my thoughts about, about the King, LeBron James, since he's been returned. And it was a perfect time with him playing in Toronto. It's always been a special place for him with the Raptors as part of his legacy. Not so great for us as Raptor fans, but I'm always appreciative of watching greatness, man. It doesn't matter what player, what sport, man. I think not enough sports fans actually in this day and age do that with great athletes. Because when they're gone, man, they're gone. Now, on that note, folks, as always, man, you can find me on X, you can find me on Blue Sky, you can find me on Facebook, and as always, you can find me right here on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. I always appreciate the support I'm getting here, and keep it coming, man. Once again, guys, keep it locked. Peace.